Hello, and welcome to today's edition of Route 664, The Road to Human Kindness. I'm your host, Les Winston, and I'm with you every week here on the great community newspaper broadcast system and also on our phenomenal new program called Discovery 664 Academy. We've created an academy by which you can learn how to do the things we're talking about with 664, that unique number, that powerful number that you need to unlock all of the wonderful, wonderful tools that can be things that can be accomplished with that tool. That tool was given to us in 1969 by the federal government, by our Congress, in their infinite wisdom, and they wanted us to build the charitable sector. The theme with everything that we do in this country, with regard to the way that we get things done, is if you want more of it, you tax it less. If you want less of it, you tax it more. And the idea was that the charitable sector needed to have a boost. It needed to be built up so that the charitable sector could take care of the things that the government's not able to take care of and shouldn't be taken care of. And that has to do with the social issues in our communities and the welfare of our communities. And those things can be done through endowment. And that's what 664 does. It helps you build an endowment for yourself and an endowment for the community that you leave behind when you're done with it. That's how it works. It's social charity. It's very much like Social Security, but it's different. It's in Social Security, you pay in all your life, and they take the money against your will in a lot of instances, and it goes to the government, and the government promises to give you an endowment. The thing with that endowment is when you pass, and if you don't have a family and you are leaving behind all that money you put in, where does it go? It goes to wherever the government wants it to go. And that's a different scenario than social charity. With social charity, you can pay into something, create an endowment for yourself, but at the end of your life, where that endowment goes is where you want it to go. That's really powerful. And that's the way we can change the country. That's the way we can change the world. We can change our own lives first, and then we can change our families and benefit our family as well, benefit the community, benefit the country, benefit the world. It's a more peaceful world. That's what human kindness is all about. And that's what we are in. We're in an economic era where everybody needs to be individually taking care of themselves. Nobody's going to take care of you but you. And you need to do it in the best way possible and the most efficient way possible. That's why we want to invite you to join the Discovery 664 Academy, because it's going to help you become financially literate about the most difficult problem that most people have, and that is to deal with taxes. More expensive than anything else that we pay for. Taxes take a lot. Most people don't even look at what their taxes are. We want you to look at that, because that's what we call funny money. You can change those tax dollars into spendable money. You can make those dollars become income dollars. That's what it means to create endowment, and that's what we'll teach you in the Academy. Join Discovery 664 Academy. Go to our website, endowamerica.com, endowamerica.com. My guest today is somebody who understands exactly what I'm talking about fully, because this is about something the government gave us as well, which I think is extremely powerful and is extremely valuable. My guest today is Ashley Tison, and Ashley is Oz Pros. This is about opportunity zones. We think you need to know about this. This is very important. Good morning. How are you, Ashley?
I'm fantastic, Les. Thanks for having me on today.
You bet. So opportunity zones was given to us by Congress, again, in their infinite wisdom, right? Tell us why.
Well, it's fascinating because, Trump just did an excellent job of taking credit for pushing it through. But this is actually a Clinton era program that was designed in order to incentivize private investment into areas that had not received, a whole lot of outside activity. And it was specifically designed to kind of pick the communities that had left behind or been left behind by the kind of the pick back up from the Great Recession. I got to hand it to them that, in their infinite wisdom of kind of knocking the guardrails off of that old program, that they created what I think is the greatest tax incentive ever legislatively enacted. And
why is it the greatest?
Well, because it has gotten the attention of private capital like no other program ever has, where we've seen probably around $150 billion worth of private investment go into these communities that needed it. And the great thing about that, right? Like on your program, you talk about this, about how, when you want to see something happen, you tax it less. Mm-hmm. Well, in addition to that, not only are we going to tax it less, but we're going to basically eliminate taxes on this if you go into these areas, and there's zero governmental dollars that have gone into it. And so
tell me how it works. Tell me what an entrepreneurial person would look for who wants to help in an opportunity zone.
Absolutely. So unfortunately, they did hamstring us with the fact that you have to start your investment with capital gains. So you've got to generate capital gains from somewhere. Now, that could be from the sale of stock. That could be from the sale of real estate, from the sale of a business, from cryptocurrency, from gold and silver that's appreciated. It can be any kind of capital gains, but your equity that you put into a deal needs to be capital gains. Now, you can combine that with debt.
Can you combine? Is it combined with your original equity? So you can take a property where you have a capital gain, but you also have equity in it, obviously. Besides whatever you've invested is not the capital gain, it's what you've made with it. So is that all part of this, or just the capital gain portion?
It's so you can only invest the capital gain part, and you can invest up to as much of the capital gain as you want. So it's a little bit different than 1031, where you've got to invest the full amount.
Got it.
And so that's a benefit. It also doesn't have to just be real estate. It can be any kind of appreciated asset. But that capital gain that you put in is what you need to put in as your equity. And then you can couple it in with non-capital gains assets in the form of debt. And you do it through what's called a qualified opportunity fund, and it's fairly simple. That can literally just be an LLC taxed as a partnership. And you put your money into a qualified opportunity fund within 180 days, and then you drop your money into a property that's inside of an opportunity zone, or you can invest into operating businesses through what's called a qualified opportunity zone business. And when that happens, you're going to defer the original gain that you would otherwise pay taxes on the next year. You're going to defer that gain until 2026. And then there's pending legislation that'll probably end up going through after the election that's going to extend out that deadline to probably to 2028 or 2031. And if that happens, then you'll get a reduction in taxes when you go to pay those taxes in 2028 or 2031. But then the big one is that after you've held your investment for 10 years, whatever you've invested into comes out with a step up in basis to fair market value. And that's significant because it eliminates capital gains, but it also eliminates depreciation recapture. And so that third one is the most powerful incentive. And that's what I think has gotten the attention of private capital.
So just to reiterate, when you're talking about setting up a fund, you say you can set that up in any financial format you want. Is that right?
Correct.
Set up as an LLC, an S corporation, a C corporation, or partnership, or whatever.
That's right. It's got to be a partnership or a corporation. So you can't set up a wholly owned LLC that's owned just by yourself. You got to have another person in it, but you put in your wife or your kids or whatever. And now you got a partnership, and you can completely cut. So a lot of times it scares people off because they're like, oh, I don't want to get into fund management, but a fund is literally your own entity, and you can have your own captive fund.
The word fund is kind of like a disruptor.
It is. It's a little daunting, but it shouldn't be.
It's like when you say trust to people, they go, trust. Wait, trust.
Yeah, wait, what's that? Right?
Yeah, exactly. So I'm a business person, and I have invested in real estate, and now my real estate has gotten to the point where I want to liquidate my real estate. But one of the things I don't want to do is I don't want to pay the tax on the capital gain, and I don't want to pay the tax on the recaptured depreciation, which is even at a higher level. So I can take my capital gain and I can then put that into a new fund company that I create.
That's right.
And now I can go into an opportunity zone.
That's right.
And how do I find the opportunity zones?
You go to ozpros.com/map. And we got a map that's literally there's over 8,700 opportunity zones all across the country and in the territories as well. So Congress allowed each governor to designate up to 25% of their low-income census tracts as opportunity zones. And that was based off the 2010 census. And as everybody knows, a lot of those tracts that were low income in 2010 aren't low income now. And so there's a number of tracks that are really nice that are just happen to be designated as opportunity zones.
Very, very fascinating and very valuable. I want to talk to you a little bit more about these opportunity zones and how powerful they can be in the planning for people who have capital gain property and want to do something about the exchange instead of doing 1031.
Hello.
We'll be right
back. It's that time of year, summertime. I'm Wanda Miles reminding you to visit us at endowamerica.com. We've got lots of books for you to take to the pool or barbecue side. Take them wherever you go with your favorite book. As long as you're comfy. It don't matter if it's digital, or a good old-fashioned, I gotta be touching my book. First on tap on our book list, we have worked up quite a bookshelf. Check them out. One of my favorites. Another one of my favorites. And yet another one of my favorites. I have so many favorites. I love them all. If you're looking for a great book to read that, I don't know, kind of gets you comfortable with money, you should be comfortable with your money. Get reading, get cracking. endowamerica.com, or buy the book at Amazon. You know where they are. Everybody knows where they are.
And we're back. My guest is Ashley Tison, and Ashley is the founder of Oz Pros, Opportunity Zone Pros. And we're talking about opportunity zones. These are amazing opportunity for you if you have capital gains in an asset that you own now, and you don't want to pay tax on that gain, and you want to do something good for the community. You can, do well by doing good. This is one of your key elements to this that makes
it's our mission.
It's your
to do well by doing good.
So you're unlocking information again, and this is what we would like to do here on our academy. In our academy, we want people to understand there are a lot of things that are out there that you may not be aware of, that you need to be aware of. If you don't use something because you don't know about it, that's a problem. But if you know about it and you don't want to use it, that's your decision. I think everybody needs to have this kind of information, and I really want to dig a little deeper into the opportunity zone opportunity. So if somebody has the capital gain in an asset, they don't want to pay the capital gains tax, and they want to do something good for the community, they can search out an opportunity zone. And that means that in that zone, there is what?
Yeah. So, in the zones, it's a census tract. So for, where there's a lot of population, that's going to be fairly small. Where there's not a lot of population, it's going to be big. So like out west, the census tracts are huge. In the eastern North Carolina, all of Hyde County is an opportunity zone. And what it allows you to do is to be able to invest either into real estate and to buy property in those zones. And you either it has to be original use. So it means it's raw land that you do something with, or you have to substantially improve it. And you basically got to double the value of the basis of the buildings. So they want some kind of activity that's happening in the zones. And so they put those provisions in there to incentivize that and to make that happen. But the key thing is that it can not only be real estate, but it can also be an operating business. So if you're starting up the next Facebook and you've got an option about where you want to locate it, you could put it into an opportunity zone, and then all of your growth after 10 years is going to come out tax-free.
That's huge.
Yeah.
That's an amazing thing.
Now, you're not going to eliminate the taxes on your original. So if you've got an appreciated property and you're evaluating whether you want to do 1031 or an OZ deal, you really need to look at that relative to, number one, how easy is it going to be to find replacement property? Number two, where are you inside of that kind of $10 million net worth? Because the lifetime exemption is going to come down to $10 million in 2025. And so if you're approaching that, every time you roll over inside of a 1031, you're basically maintaining the same basis. And so when you get that step up in basis to fair market value, the amount that it gets stepped up is going to go against your lifetime exemption amount. So if you've got original $100,000 property that you've managed to exchange into like $15 million. Anything that's above that lifetime exemption amount is going to have to be, the taxes are going to have to be paid within 180 days.
State taxes, yeah.
Yeah. And so there's not a lot of people talking about that with respect to 1031. Now, the other thing that we regularly do is we help people that haven't been able to identify in 45 days, or for whatever reason haven't been able to close. We can take their money from the qualified intermediary that they would have it with for that 1031 exchange and roll it into an opportunity zone in order to be able to defer the taxes on it. Now, you're going to pay the taxes in 2026, but what it gives us time for is to do some other advanced tax mitigation strategies, whether that's solar, whether that's oil and gas. And you can make these investments out of your opportunity zone fund that are going to decrease the amount that you pay when you go to pay it in 2026 or 2028. And then when you go to sell your new investment, whatever that is, whether it's a new Facebook or whether it's a car wash that you built inside of an opportunity zone, you're not going to pay any capital gains or depreciation recapture on that new investment. That's where the real power is.
What kind of time frames are we talking? You're using some actual year dates, 2026, 2028. Are those dates that are built into the legislation?
That's right.
Or are those dates are actually dates? In other words, this is something that's going to disappear or could disappear?
Yeah, so you have to, as the legislation's written right now, and one of the reasons why they had to do this is because they have to go to the OMB, the ombudsman, and be able to explain to him how much taxes it's going to cost the government. And so by putting an end date on it, they can then define how much that tax cut is going to cost. And so they put this end date for the whole Tax Cut and Jobs Act of December 31st, 2026, which was 9 years right out from when they passed it, which was December of 2017. And so that is the date when your ability to be able to defer ends. Now, the program inside of Opportunity Zones doesn't end until 2047, which is one of the reasons why we've got a flood of folks that are coming to us and saying, hey, listen, I want to make sure that I get my capital gain into a fund prior to December 31st, 2026. So that way I can make sure that I can use this program. I've got my fund set up and it capitalized, and then I can loan money into it to do transactions all the way until 2047. But I've got a closing window of time to be able to get into a fund.
That's so there's time urgency.
That's right.
Involved in this. And so I want you to know that the Academy is going to be showing, we'll have this particular pot of information will be in the Academy for people who are members of the Academy to listen to again and again.
Perfect.
Because you have to. It's not,
and
it's not that easy. It's not that easy to listen to this one time and go, oh, I understand.
Oh, I got it.
Yeah, right. So there are experts, people who have experience, people who know how to do this, people who can help you do this. And
that's right.
Like you're an ambassador to me. We're creating ambassadors and we're creating endowment engineers, and you're an ambassador and endowment engineer in the area of opportunity zones. Somebody who can help the public understand what this is. You know, taxation without representation. We fought a Revolutionary War with that.
We did indeed.
People who are taxed and don't know why they're taxed or don't know how to avoid the tax legitimately, that's a sin. You have to be an informed taxpayer. Otherwise, you're going to get hosed. The government will take as much as they can take from you, and they don't care. There's no pity. They will take what they can take. If you let them, you have to stop that. And you can stop that. Not that you have to stop it, but you will stop it because you want to stop it. It's not something that you don't think is beneficial. Here's a great way to do that with opportunity zones. And if you want to learn more about that, Oz Pros, Ashley Tison can help you with that. He's an ambassador in opportunity zones, and he's an endowment engineer. And in his own right, he's an endowment engineer that can help you create more of an endowment. And that's what we're talking about. You know, we're talking about the limits of what the government says you can pass to somebody without an estate tax. That's the endowment that you're passing on to your family.
That's right.
That's one endowment. You also got an endowment that you have to live on. And if you can make more money and not pay tax on it when you're able to liquidate things, that's also a value. So you can build your endowment that way. And then we want to help you do one other thing. We want you to help leave that endowment into the community. So maybe using an opportunity zone, you'll get a piece of property that you can give to a charity. I don't know, is there any reason, any limitations on whether you can gift opportunity zone
Not at all
results to a charitable organization? How about charitable trusts or a charitable pooled income fund? Can they be transferred to people? If there's no mortgage on it, it's easier, obviously.
correct. So you could absolutely donate the property. So the interesting play about this as well is that, when you go to pay the taxes, you either pay taxes on your original gain amount or the value of your QOF investment at the time. So if you were to set up opportunity.
Wait. The Q11?
QOF, sorry, the Qualified Opportunity Fund.
Okay.
So, and I say it really fast because I say it all the time. So I'm really appreciative.
I hadn't heard before. Q11. Okay.
So you either pay tax on what your original gain was or the value of your fund investment on December 31st, 2026. And so if you have donated some of the property out of there, obviously the value of your fund investment is going to go down. And that's another way that you can, kind of in retroactively be able to do a charitable donation from your sale that you just had, which is really cool because most people, when after they're not thinking about it coming into the sale, whether it's a business or whether it's a piece of property, they're not thinking about, oh man, these are the taxes I'm going to owe. But then they're like, afterwards, they get the bill from their CPA and they're like, oh man, I got to write a big check to the government. This allows us to do it retroactively, sometimes all the way back until January of the previous year. So like right now, I could take gains that are reported on a K1 from January 1st of 2023. And I can still defer those gains.
Really?
And that's really powerful.
That is powerful because that's something after the year is over type of planning, which is really hard to do.
That's right.
Yeah. We talk about, especially when we're dealing with 664 and the kind of planning that we're doing with regard to charitable remainder trusts or charitable pooled income funds or gift annuities. Those things need to be done before the end of the year. Otherwise, they're not going to help you with the taxes in that year. But you've got something now that you can do in the following year.
That's right.
2024 for 2023. So if you've got capital gains in 2023 that you want to deal with, you can do that now with an opportunity zone and working through an opportunity zone professional. And
that's correct.
Ashley Tison is that person for you to talk to. So I want to thank you for being on Road to Human Kindness here. This is a very important part of the structure. If we can make people more financially well off, they'll be more apt to do things for the community, and everybody will have a better life. And we don't have to be, and this is something government gave us. So I do appreciate that.
Well, yeah. And, it's something that the government gave us. And, in addition to having more money that you can do great things with the community, by very definition of investing into an opportunity zone, you're helping a downtrodden community. And the provisions of the opportunity zone require you to do something inside of the zone. So you are actively, perpetrating, increasing the quality of life inside of these zones that have heretofore, typically been downtrodden. And there's a number of reasons why, but it's a great program for you to be able to save taxes and do good while you're doing the same time. So to do well by doing good.
Yeah, exactly. I love that. What fascinates me more than what really astounds me in a way is these things should not be so secretive in a way.
Yes.
We're in a world of abundance, and I don't think that there's an abundance attitude in the federal government when they're talking about things that they've created to help you reduce your taxes. It's something that they don't talk about. There's no
that's right. They're really not promoting it, right? You don't see any ads by the IRS saying, take advantage of opportunity zones.
Is there a section of the tax code that this falls under?
Yes, it's section 1400Z. So similar to 1031, it's called section 1400Z.
1400Z. Okay, well, we're 664 and 1400Z is another part of what we're talking about. It's a way for you to reduce your taxes, increase your income, and do something good for the community, actually directly do something good for the community.
That's right.
Lift up communities that are probably. So what kind of results have there been so far, Ashley?
We've seen almost $150 billion go into deals that are happening inside of opportunity zones. Now, would some of those deals normally have gotten done? Yes, absolutely. Are people, taking advantage of that in order to, to juice their returns? Yes. But at the same time, they're putting more money into investors' pockets that they can do good with. The other thing is that we've seen massive job creation as a result of programs that otherwise would not have gotten done, but for the fact that they were opportunity zone programs. And then there's been a number of studies that have been done by EIG and a couple of other think tanks that have indicated that median house prices have gone and have risen substantially over similarly situated census tracts that were not designated as opportunity zones. And the results are coming in. And it's interesting to me that the mainstream media is not being more of a proponent of this.
Nowhere.
And it comes down to the fact that Trump took credit for it. And so the mainstream media can't be behind it because they're like, oh, that's a Trump program, which is crazy. It's not a Trump program, right? This is a program for everybody to do well by doing good. And it benefits the people that are typically Democrats. It benefits the people who are typically Republicans. It is bipartisan, bicameral. So it's not a Trump thing. It's not anything like that. This is a smart thing. And it's like, hey, listen, let's get behind it. Let's tell the stories about all of these great things that are happening instead of bickering about who, is taking credit for it.
Well, goes back to what I said earlier. This is an economic world we're living in, and unfortunately, the political world doesn't want to let it go.
No, they don't.
They want to maintain some control, and they want to maintain what they're doing, and they're very important, and so on and so forth. But meanwhile, they've given individuals an opportunity to help without the government. The government's encouraging you to help make communities better through your own investment in the community, not the government's investment of your tax money into the community. So actually what they're saying is, we'd rather you take your tax money and you put it directly into the community, and that way we don't have to do that. We're going to give you lower taxes if you do this. And that means you're going to help your own community, you're going to help communities around you do better. And that's great. That's what it should be. That's
exactly
right. Where we're at. That's what human kindness is all about. Not government kindness, human kindness.
That's right.
You'll find out more about what we do also on our phenomenal radio interviews that we do with other people. In addition to Ashley, we have our interviews are played regularly on Route 664 Radio, and Route 664 Radio is a great place for you to go. There's an app for that. You can get it on Apple or on Android and listen all day to really nice music that makes you feel good in a lot of ways. It's feel good music, good for the soul, good for the spirit. And
I'm writing that down because I'm going to be downloading it.
Yeah, download it. It's an app. It's real easy. And listen all the time. It's a wonderful, wonderful station. And you also can get a book written by Wanda Miles. It's called Social Charity, and how that's going to save Alpha Generation and retirement of our people today. It's a great book as well on Social Charity. That's on Amazon. You can get that, download that ebook. And we're also encouraging you again to join the Discovery 664 Academy. It's a really, really good place for you to get information and to learn more about what we're doing. Thank you very much for joining us today, Ashley. Ashley Tison from Charlotte, North Carolina. But works all over the country on opportunity zones. You want to find one, go to OzPros. Thank you very much for being with us.
Absolutely, Les. And we've actually got a promotion for all of your listeners. If they go to ozpros.com/podcast, they can get a discount on all of the services that we provide. It's got a direct link to our map that's on there. And then if you want more in-depth knowledge about this, visit us at youtube.com/ozpros. Subscribe and bounce in our channel there, but we've got in-depth videos about how to actually do opportunity zones and some of the intricacies involved. And we stand at the ready to help any of your listeners that want to execute on this social charity concept. And to the extent they want to use opportunity zones to do so, we're here to help.
I love it. You got the words out right. Socialism and charity. Yeah.
That's a tongue twister right there, man. Say that one 3 times fast.
Yeah, they need to get used to that. Socialism and charity. It comes out easier for me than Social Security. So the best thing to do is go to endowamerica.com, where you can find out all this information there, endowamerica.com, and we'll be with you again soon. Thank you very much. That's the show for today. Thanks all for joining us.